Welcome back to the MMA Meltdown radio show here on 102.3 ESPN Radio. We have a special guest with us here today. The guy has an extensive wrestling background. 3-time high school state champ, 2-time junior college national champ, NCAA runner-up, losing only to Cale Sanderson in the finals there, 2-time U.S. Olympian. He's an undefeated 9-0 fighter, coming off a victory over Bigfoot Silva. He fights Josh Barnett on Saturday night, and his name is Daniel Cormier. Welcome, Daniel.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're enjoying this. You know, I'm a wrestling coach, so this is a fun thing for me.
Always good to talk to a wrestler.
First thing I'd like to ask, and it's more of a comment that you'd have, you know, there's been a lot of talk going on here that Josh is going to earn a takedown on you, and I know you've kind of said, you know, you've got credentials going into wrestling rooms, and if you got taken down by a catch wrestler, you'd kind of lose some of those credentials. You want to talk about that a little bit?
No, you know, I was just kind of joking around because Tervel Delagnev, our 2012 Olympian at heavyweight, was saying that I can't give up the takedown, and I was like, well, if I get taken down, I won't be able to go in there. You know, I kind of get a level of respect because of my Olympic teams and my accomplishments, and the guys listen to what I'm saying, and I was like, well, if I go into a fight and get taken down, I can't do that anymore and feel comfortable doing it, you know. So I was kind of half kidding, but I really do not intend to let Josh Barnett get a takedown.
Oh, no, I'm sure you don't. And, you know, hey, you're welcome into our room anytime, taken down or not. You know, you competed in the 2004 Olympics and finished fourth in Athens, and then you were in Beijing for the 2008 Olympics. You were unable to compete due to kidney failure. You know, what caused this, and how did you cope with that?
I coped with not being able to wrestle in the Olympics like almost like a death. You know, it was like the end of my wrestling career. What caused it was just a lifetime of cutting weight the wrong way. You know, I was a guy that actually would get really big between weigh-ins, and then I would just suck off a whole bunch of water. Well, that's not very smart, and that's not the way to get things done, you know. So it was fully my fault for doing things so wrong for such a long time, and cost me at the worst possible time. And I talked to the doctors at the Olympic Training Center and everybody, and asked them, you know, well, what happened? And they said, well, your body just basically said enough at the worst possible time. I wish I could tell you something more medical, but I can't, Daniel. That's basically what it boils down to.
Yeah, and that's what I figured, you know, because people, wrestlers especially, and I see it in MMA also, they're cutting weight the wrong way, and it's all water weight at the last minute, and you know, they need the IVs and things like that just to rehydrate. That's not a good way of doing it.
No, that's not the best way to do it. You need to diet and monitor it and bring it down slowly. And try not to cut no more than probably 10 pounds of water weight, actually. You
know, you train at American Kickboxing Academy, and I know your main sparring partner and training partner is Cain Velasquez. There's a lot of great guys there. How has camp been going, and what's a typical day look like for you?
Camp has been great, man. You know, having Cain in there is really good. I mean, I take a lot of bumps sparring with the guy. He's really good, but it's been great. It's been great because so many guys in the gym right now have big fights coming up. So we've trained hard. I think this has honestly been the best training camp of my life. Typical day is get up in the morning, get ready for training at noon, do our sparring and jiu-jitsu. On Tuesdays, we wrestle. It's just like a college wrestling workout. Wednesdays, back to sparring jiu-jitsu. Thursdays, all jiu-jitsu in the morning. And then Friday, sparring and jiu-jitsu. Saturday morning, I come in and hit pads. And every night of the week, I do cardio of some sort, you know. So we grind away twice a day, every day almost while we're in training camp. I get a day and a half off at the end of the week.
I'm sure that's one heck of a wrestling room in there.
One time we had wrestling practice, and it was our group was me, Cain Velasquez, Mark Ellis, an NCAA champ from Missouri, Phil Davis, an NCAA champ from Penn State, and King Mo Lawal, NCAA All-American from Oklahoma State and 3-time U.S. national champion.
That's a heck of a group.
You're getting some good work in if those guys are wrestling with you.
You didn't start fighting until 2009. Did being a wrestler play a pivotal role in your transition to become a fighter?
Oh, yeah, hands down. You know, I wanted to compete. I was done wrestling. You know, that part of my life was done. It was finished, you know, but wrestling has helped me tremendously in the sport because it allows me to control where the fight takes place. If I'm fighting a guy that's too good a striker, I can take him down. If I fight a guy that's too good on the ground, I can keep him off of my legs and make him stand up and strike with me. So it's been my biggest advantage in all of my fights. And also because of my wrestling, guys are a little less confident in their stand-up because they're afraid I'm going to take them down.
So you'd say that becoming a wrestler or being a wrestler is great for your fighting. And
oh, yeah, it's great. It's unbelievable.
It's important that people understand that. It really plays a big role in what you do in the cage.
It plays a huge part.
I know you've dealt with some, you know, life-altering events as a kid and as an adult. Could you explain how these help fuel the fire for competition?
It's been good, you know. I mean, I compete for all the people that I've lost along the way, you know, so they are my motivation to do things right and to train right and do everything right leading into my fights. I didn't let all these negative things hinder hinder what I'm trying to accomplish in my life. You know, I've used it to motivate me. I've used these people as a motivation, and I know that they would have been supporting me if they were still here, and so I compete for them, and it helps. It helps a ton. It sucked in the time, you know, when it was happening. You know, it was some of the darkest times of my life, but now I use them as motivation, and it actually helps me.
You know, there's a lot of MMA fighters out of Okie State. Do you guys have a bond with each other as you transitioned into the world of MMA?
Well, you know that we still talk to each other. I talk to Munoz. Me and Mo, we train together in San Jose. I talk to Shane Rowland, those guys, all my teammates. I stay in contact with them, you know, Jake Rochelle and them, but we all train in different areas, but we make sure that when one guy's fighting, we're all watching, and if there's an opportunity to be at the fight live, we make sure we're always there.
Is there anything else we should know about Daniel Cormier?
Just tune into the fight on Saturday night, man, on Showtime. It's going to be a great fight. Me and Josh Barnett are going to put on a great show for the fans.
Is there anybody else you'd like to thank?
Just all my sponsors, man. Thanks Zuffa and Strikeforce for giving me these opportunities, and just my family for all the support.
Hey, Daniel, I'd like to thank you for coming on to MMA Meltdown on ESPN Radio, and best of luck in that fight, and get after him.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All righty. Thanks a lot.